Put the Russians together the other night, and it clicked. What were they doing the other night that maybe they weren't doing when you broke that line up?
Playing with pace. They played north-south. They were driving the net. The goal, Voronkov scored. He was at the net. That's what they do well. And that's what they did early together. They got away from it. We tried to make them understand, but we need to know that they're young players. And sometimes when you have success, you change a little bit of how you play because you have success instead of sticking to the plan. And that's what happened. So we split them apart. But we knew at some point that could be a good line for us, and the timing was right. They played with pace. They were supporting each other. Marchenko scored a nice goal because, well, it was a good shot, but Chinnikov was driving the net on that play. He brought attention to him. So they played the right way, offensively and defensively.
Did they get a little energy out of being reunited too?
Probably, yes. Probably. They like playing with each other. We know it. And that's something that is important to me and to us, the coaching staff. But it's got to be productive. And they were productive the last game. Now, the hardest thing for younger players is consistency. If you struggle, then you hold your stick a little bit too tight, and maybe you're not as creative offensively. And when things are going really well, then you start trying stuff that you know it's not going to work, but you feel so confident. So creating that line, that balance, and I think hopefully that the previous experience and being split apart was created that balance that they can be creative. We want them to be creative, but there's a certain way to do it that you don't end up picking up the puck out of your net every time you're trying to be creative.
And just a quick question on Johnny. He's obviously on a little bit of a hot streak, but not finding the back of the net. You worried about that at all, or do you see he's creating the opportunities and the goals will come?
Well, he scored a goal. It was just offside, right? And he was at the net. You know what? Johnny is really good at, if you give him a little bit of time, he's going to make something happen with the puck. And the last game, he had 3 breakaways. The one, he had the goalie. He got chipped by the goalie. The goalie played well. The second one, he hit the crossbar. So that's 2 goals right there. And the other one, he missed the net. But what Johnny does really well, and when you're a smaller player like him and you're creating offense like he does, his computer, his hockey sense, offensive hockey sense is off the chart. He finds openings on the ice. And I was talking about that earlier with somebody else, but for a guy like him, people will watch what's around the puck most of the time because that's where the camera is looking at, right? So you watch on TV, you see where the puck is around, you don't see everything else. We have the ability to see from all different angles. And so many times he gets open, but he doesn't get the puck. He could create that breakaway or that 2-on-1 or that 3-on-2, but he just doesn't get it for whatever reason. The last game we were able to find him, and we saw a byproduct of that. He had some breakaways. So Johnny is playing real good hockey for us right now.
Pazzy, you brought up consistency a few moments ago, and Boone Jenner is so consistent for you. What makes him so reliable night in and night out?
Well, he's a true pro. He's Mr. Consistency. He's a real good pro. He prepares the same way. Even when Boone has an average game, it's a good game. Because we know he's going to do the right things, and he'll make mistakes like everybody else. But his game is so consistent. What he's really good at, and that's the team identity I'm looking to create here, is he's excellent in his work ethic. There's never a question about his work ethic. And because of that, he grinds the game, he plays the right way, he goes to the net, he blocks shots, he's on the power play, he's on the PK. He broke his jaw and he's still going to the net. I don't know many people that would do that. Like he just happened not too long ago. And he's the first game back, his first shift, he was at the net. So he's that kind of guy, and we're very fortunate to have him. He's a great captain for coaches. He's a voice in the room. He's a guy that is consistent, and that's throughout his life. That's just what he does. He prepares, plays the proper way, and he works every game like it's his last game of his career.
With that in mind, what did you think when he scored the game-winning goal the other night? Because Johnny, it's a great pass by Johnny, but that's pretty much quintessential Boone Jenner.
Well, yes. Yeah, it's typical of Boone going to, attacking the net, and doesn't have to be pretty, but Johnny made a great play. The things I talk about, people don't see around the puck. Jack Roslovic comes across, he brings the D with him, which opens up Boone for a half breakaway under pressure, but he's a strong man and he found a way. But life is funny. When you do the right things, consistently good things happen. And Boone played a real good game for us and he got rewarded. We got rewarded because of his effort. So that's tells you you know what, when you go back in 10, 15 years and you want to explain what Boone Jenner was, you could just show that goal. That's what he does. Like, he just grinds, he just works until he hears the whistle, and that's what you expect from your players.
Going back to the Russian line real quick, when you have a line like that one and they've been split apart, you're putting them back together, you're going to tell them, hey, I want you to play a certain way. Yeah. Then they go out and do it. Yeah. How much better does it make the film study afterward, or if you're going to go do film with them or whatever? Yeah. It can cut both ways with film, right? Like, if you do it wrong, you're pointing out the wrong things. But when they do it right, is that important?
Yeah,
to see on
positive reinforcement is huge, and any studies will tell you that positive reinforcement is way, way more effective than being negative all the time. Having said that, there's a line, but when they play a game like this, just to reinforce what you're saying, that positive reinforcement, they played the right way, they need to know. Right. When they don't, they need to know. Sure. But it's certainly to see it, to feel it, to be told, but they know. They know. They knew they weren't playing the right way at some point, and that's why we split them up. But now they know they've played a good game. And the question again is, it's got to be consistent now. So this is the standard, right? We know they can play that way. Can you bring that game every game? And that's what we're going to see and evaluate.
Do you have any lineup changes today?
Olivier comes back, and Bemstrom comes out.
Goaltender?
August. What is Olivier able to give you? Obviously, it's more of a power forward game. But are you noticing when he is playing and he gets in there that he's helping drive puck possession?
But that's, we got to be careful here, because you don't evaluate Olivier with puck possession. You evaluate him on momentum swings, forecheck, blocking shots. And he's so strong that when he has the puck, he's able to hold on to it. But I want him to drive the net. I want him to play a hard game, but he's capable of doing that. He's also, him and Goodbranson are like the two cops, making sure that everybody's protected. And playing a game against LA, heavy, physical, veteran team, we felt that Olivier was a good match.